You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's.
We're here at the Maui Gym Maui Invitational in the 18th hole. I got about 60 yards to the hole. Got a little bit of wind. Everything breaks to the ocean, even though we're on an island. I'll take a sand wedge. It is hard to find good help here in Maui. Perfect.
I don't know how that stayed out.
Oh, we've had some fun here on Maui. Welcome to the Maui Gym Maui Invitational. Final day in beautiful Lahaina. And we got a fifth-place game coming your way. VCU taking on Michigan. But already some excitement, a little bit of history here on the final day of the Maui Gym Maui Invitational. In the seventh-place game, Chaminade, in its 34th year as host of this tournament, knocking off Cal, and it was lopsided. 96-72. Dantley Walker went for 23.
And it was early and often. Chaminade came out and destroyed Cal's press, played hard, and actually made Cal give up and quit. And those kids were so, you'll never see anybody more excited to win a seventh-place, eighth-place game in your life, and good for them.
8th all-time win in this tournament for the Chaminade Silver Swords. 6th-ranked Wichita State, 13th-ranked Notre Dame at the top of the heap. They'll be battling for the championship a little later on in the day. Inside Lahaina Civic Center alongside Dan Dockich. One last time, Kanoa Leahy here. All right, this is a VCU team. You know what they're going to do. They're going to swarm defensively. Yeah,
they are, and Michigan's pretty well schooled against it, but VCU havoc. You remember that with Shaka Smart, run to the Final Four. Mike Rhodes, the coach of VCU, was one of his assistants. Couple of things. You're going to have to pass fake before you pass, and you can't put a hump on your passes because VCU recovers fast. You know, we talk about a cornerback in football moving on the ball. VCU, like that, moves on the ball incredibly quickly. You've got to be strong and tough and pass fake before you dribble. Michigan is well schooled here. Point guard play going to be important, but this guy more so. Look at the ways he scores. You see Charles Matthews, a transfer from Kentucky, driving it, rebounding it. This has been a bit of a coming out party for Matthews. He goes on the block. He can shoot threes. He has become the go-to guy for Michigan, along with Mo Wagner, who is an NBA prospect. This is going to be a great game. This is really good matchup.
You got Michigan coming in at 4-1 on the season. VCU 3-2. Rams lost on the first day to Marquette 94-83. Bounced back with an 83-69 win over Cal on day 2. Michigan falling to LSU despite being up 9 in that game with a little over 5 minutes left. 77-75 the final there, and then they were able to upend Chaminade 102-64 on day 2. VCU controls here first possession. Justin Tillman with it. Getting late in the shot clock here on the first possession. 3 seconds to shoot. Jonathan Williams will hoist from deep. Almost got it to go off glass.
Well, that was a really good possession by Michigan. You're going to see Michigan switch a lot of screens. They're not afraid to have Matthews or Brooks or Wagner guard a variety of people.
Once again, Michigan with the freshman at the starting point guard position, number 55, Eli Brooks.
Yeah, and that's mentioned because 3 guys are kind of sharing it. Xavier Simpson, who was here last year, Deron Simmons, who transferred as a 5th-year kid, all Mac Claire.
Here's Moritz Wagner, left it short on his first attempt.
You don't see Mo Wagner come out of shots like that. He shot it and kind of got out of the way like he didn't expect it to go in at all.
And Tillman, meanwhile, attacking Wagner and striking first here in this 5th-place game.
This is a pro. Like, Tillman is a pro. I know he's averaging 12 and 7. I mentioned to you, Kanoa, before the game, I expect him to do more as the season wears on.
At 15 points, 7 rebounds in that opening loss to Marquette. But you're right, 6'8" senior from Detroit. He looks the part. Wagner, this time from behind the arc.
And that time he stayed with the shot a little bit, just shot it long. But they're trying, they know that they can get Wagner a shot off pick and pop.
Williams, wild shot, tapped around, and Wagner secures it. Bounce pass down to the baseline. It's Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman leaving it for Brooks, and the freshman's in the book.
Yeah, I said this yesterday. Rahman plays in traffic maybe better than anybody on this court because he gets underneath. As a guard, he gets low. And by being low, he can kind of jet between two people, drop a bounce pass like you saw.
There's a little bit of the offensive dirty work, so to speak.
Absolutely, and he is an uber talented guy. He can really elevate.
Right corner three ball on the way is pure out of the palm of Malik Profield.
Profield, that's only his fifth three attempt in this tournament. He was 2 for 4, now 3 for 5.
And they're going to have a whistle at midcourt. John Beilein in his 11th season as head coach for the Michigan Wolverines. Last year became the winningest head coach in program history.
One of the great teachers in college basketball. He was voted by his peers the most honest coach in college basketball, which may be, just may be, the equivalent of being the handsomest man at the Dockage family reunion.
Duncan Robinson, a little long on that three try. Profield picking up the first foul, by the way.
Well, I really like the way VCU has come out here. They're coming out quick, running their offense and going on the block.
Position and seal by Tillman.
All right, that was a great pass and a great seal, but terrible defense by Charles Matthews. You never lunge for the ball in the post, ever. Because when you do, what happens is it's a layup. You go for the ball if you are 100% sure you're going to get it.
Abdul Rahman finds Wagner. He gets blocked. Marcus Santos Silva obstructing that effort. VCU got a substitute fast and furious as well as up the tempo defensively.
You got to get out of the way and throw it into Tillman.
Ariante Jenkins, big game yesterday. And off the glass, it's good from Tyler May, 6'1" freshman from Farmville, North Carolina.
Here's what I've always loved about this habit pace. Okay. May just hit the shot and didn't even care. He immediately got in the stance, got up in the press, and played defense. Nobody does anything other than play for 40 minutes.
7-0 run here for the Rams early. Abdul Rahman for three. Matthews got a tip, and it went right into the clutches of Wagner for the easy bucket.
I'll tell you what, that was really good defense on Abdul Rahman, but Charles Matthews has done this all week. He has gone to the backboards and either gotten the ball, tipped it out, did something to influence. That time he influenced to get a layup.
Oh, missed bunny right in front of the rim by Marcus Santos Silva.
That's bad.
Abdul Rahman left alone and twirls it in.
And he was under the bucket, was going to shoot, didn't. Then was going to find Matthews in the corner, didn't. The number one rule on defense is you've got to know where the ball is. The person doesn't go through the basket. The ball goes through the basket. So you got to know where the ball is. VCU lost sight of the ball. Rahman made him pay.
He can get pretty hot from distance. Shot nearly 49% from outside the arc in Big Ten play last year.
Well, that's a terrible pass. You've got to keep going inside to Tillman, though.
Bodies hitting the deck. Little passion here early in the 5th place game of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational.
Hey, if you don't want someone diving on you, then don't just stay outside the three-point line and don't go on the floor. Cut it out and play.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Maui Visitors and Convention Bureau and visitmaui.com. The Many Countrymen, get more of what matters. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
VCU by a bucket. A little over 5 minutes into this 5th place affair. Maui Jim Maui Invitational final day. Taking a look at first-year head coach for the Rams, Mike Rhodes. He was the 1995 Division III Player of the Year at Lebanon Valley in Pennsylvania. Head coach at Randolph-Macon for 10 years. A Division III school in Ashland, not far from Richmond, Virginia. VCU associate head coach under Shaka Smart. From 09 to 14, went to the 2011 Final Four, and the last 3 years, head coach at Rice.
You know, last year I did a game with Jeff Van Gundy, and he told me, he goes, man, that guy at Rice, Jeff lives in Houston, Rice is in Houston. He said, that guy at Rice runs a great practice. He is a fantastic coach, and he's an unbelievable shooter. Like, of everybody in this gym, the only guy that I would compare him as a shooter to him is that Dantley Walker, who just lit it up. Mike can shoot the basketball. It doesn't matter, but called a nugget in the business. This is it.
Duncan Robinson left alone makes the defense pay.
He's not going to miss that. He had way too much room. Pretty good look, but when Duncan Robinson clicks his heels on the right baseline, it is automatic.
Robinson, another former Division III standout for Williams College in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Oh, nice back cut.
The reverse not there, however, for Xavier Jackson. 8-0 Michigan run to get back in front. Brooks.
That's a bad shot. He's not capable just yet of making that shot. He doesn't have the confidence. If that's Robinson or that's Abdul Rahman, then fine, but that's a bad shot. That's the kind of shot that stops a run for you.
Ten seconds to shoot. Michael Sims rattles it home.
Yeah, that's a tough shot. Again, watch Sims, number one. He made the shot and just got right back in the stance. The first thing you notice about, if you were scouting VCU and the havoc and all that stuff, the first thing you notice is how big they are. These are some thick dudes. I mean, really thick.
Matthews going to work. Got fouled down low by Sims.
They had him spread out. Jonathan Williams had to stay with Rahman on the right side. And whoever was guarding, I didn't get a chance to see it, but whoever was guarding Duncan Robinson had to stay there with him on the right side as well, which opened up the lane for Matthews.
Matthews, 6'6" sophomore out of Chicago, redshirted last year after transferring from Kentucky. Averaged under 2 points per game. Averaged just 10 minutes per game as a freshman for John Calipari. But what we have seen from him in this early season, he's pretty remarkable.
He's really good. He took the year, the transfer year, and worked on his body, worked on his perimeter jump shot, and was dominating in practice. I mean, he was a guy that the coaches, the players all felt like he was one of the main reasons Michigan got really good at the end of the year. Won the Big Ten Conference tournament title and got to the Sweet 16, lost by 1 to Oregon. He was a big reason because of how hard he made everybody else go. Zach Irvin, Derek Walton, et al. How hard he made them work in practice.
Coming off of a perfect 8-for-8 field goal performance yesterday against Chaminade. Xavier Simpson, active hands, causing problems. Michigan the takeaway. Abdul Rahman fakes the pass. The tip by Robinson goes.
And Abdul Rahman and Simpson did a great job defensively. There's 3 point guards for Michigan. Simpson has to be the defender. If he wants to take the position over, he's got to do what he did right there.
Williams leaves it off for Chris Lane.
Well, I'll tell you what, Simpson got beat, but he caught up pretty well. Nice drop-off. Lane with a good finish. But Simpson speeding up VCU just a little bit.
Thoughts on the pace here as we approach 8 minutes into this one?
I don't think the pace favors anybody. I think Michigan's done a nice job, as a whole. I think Michigan's done a nice job of patience against the press. And I think VCU's done a nice job of figuring out to drive the ball. Look at Simpson down there. It was actually E.B. Watson that was involved. But here, Duncan Robinson, who is at least 6'6". Like Bonzie Colson is shorter in person. Duncan Robinson is taller in person. Robinson ran the floor nice. They got a skip pass if they wanted it for Robinson.
Matthews to Wagner for the flush.
First time, really, VCU looked unorganized defensively. They were scrambling instead of dictating.
Three ball by Sean Mobley, left it short.
Mobley's a big guy, but he's 4 for 6 in this tournament, and he looks to shoot it every time he gets a chance. There was 3.
4 white jerseys under the defensive glass that time for the Wolverines.
See that? Duncan Robinson caught it, pass faked it. You see Rahman caught it and then made a move.
Nice extra pass from Wagner to Robinson.
He did not have it in his hand. He was fumbling it going up.
Lane got the contact. They're going to count the bucket. The foul against Robinson.
Well, that was Mo Wagner's fault. Mo Wagner went for the ball at the top of the key when he had no chance of getting the ball, and that opened up the lane for the drive in the N1.
Some good comp here in this 5th place game on the other side of this upcoming break. Michigan's magical late season run from a season ago.
Yeah, this is pretty good offense. Wagner with the flush. Charles Matthews doing what he's doing, playing hard, playing well.
One of the remarkable stories of college basketball last season. Rewind back to March 8th. Michigan's plane slid off the runway. It was a runway crash. No one injured, but arrived Thursday morning and proceeded to win 4 games in 4 days to win the Big Ten Tournament Championship. Advanced all the way to the Sweet 16, lost to Oregon by 1. In fact, Derek Walton missed a 3 at the end of the game that would have won it. But your son Andrew, part of that magical run, and boy, was it scary. Boy, was it also inspiring.
Yeah, both. It was scary. My son was on the plane. I got a call, Dad, we are, first words, Dad, we're in a plane crash. I'm like, what? And then the phone went dead. So look, kids out there, never bury the lead. Always say I'm fine first. But so there was a lot of panic out of me. I was getting ready to go in a game, but John Beeline and his staff, along with Mark Donnell and Tyler Davis. I must talk about Tyler Davis for a second. He's one of the managers on the sideline. And Tyler Davis opened up doors along with Mark Donnell, got everybody out. They didn't know if the plane was going to blow up or not. All their gear was in the belly of the plane, and they came to D.C. in their practice gear. And John Beeline and his staff did an incredible job of listening to the kids, making sure the kids were okay. You know, there was a time that Kanoa, they weren't going to come and play. This was a shook group. This was a crash. And my son told me, he said, Dad, I knew we were in trouble when we crashed through a couple of chain link fences. But again, the whole Michigan community, AD, Ward Manuel, the assistant coaches, everybody was just so great. As a parent, I could not be more appreciative.
Matthews blocked out of bounds underneath. It really kind of puts everything into perspective. Any adversity that this team then went on to face in the Big Ten tournament or in the NCAA tournament just paled in comparison.
It did. And, you know, I must talk about Derek Walton and Zach Irvin. You know, they were seniors, they were leaders along, you know, my son and everybody else. They just got the group together, talked about it, and went out and played as inspired. And good, now let's be honest, DJ Wilson was a first-round draft choice. Mo Wagner is going to be an NBA player. Derek Walton is in the NBA, so they're a good team. But there's something special about that team.
Finished with 26 wins, winning the Big Ten Conference Tournament Championship after going 10-8 in league during the regular season. Long couple of possessions there for Michigan, and it results in free throws here for Xavier Simpson.
You know, Michigan and Ohio State are getting ready to play an epic football game. And I know there's a Michigan audience out there, but in my opinion on that football game is Jim Harbaugh needs to win a big game. Like, you're paying a dude $6 million, beat somebody good. I digress. But Michigan's season really turned around a little bit before that. They lost to Ohio State. Kanoa, I'm telling you, it was the least inspired I've ever seen a game. They were awful at home. Ohio State just came in there and beat them. They had a little team meeting, got everybody together and figured it out and started winning after that. And the plane crash kind of just added to the whole thing.
3-point advantage here for Michigan with 10:33 ticking away in the first frame. 5th place game of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. If you're just joining us, Chaminade pulling off a little bit of history earlier with the win over Cal, and it was a lopsided victory. That was a sky-high rebound for Matthews. He's going to take it all the way to the rim.
Wow. Hey, we didn't even see him. There was 3 VCU guys around us, and he just laid it in. You couldn't see him.
Looking like a running back, just busting into the offensive line.
Look at Mo up there blocking shots. Tillman got to go strong.
There's Simpson. Matthews lets it fly.
No, he can't make that. Like, he's not ready to make that. Again, that's another bad shot. We'll see what happens. But the ball's got to be reversed, then brought back to him, and he can make that.
Matthews didn't miss any shots yesterday versus Chaminade. He's 1 of 4 here so far. They work it into Tillman, do the Rams, trying to go up and under against John Teskey. And Teskey says, I
like these refs. I had a guy, some guy named Ace something on Twitter say, well, every game we're going to have to listen to the plane crash story. And if I'm doing the game, you're damn right, yeah. Because that was an important story for Michigan basketball.
Yeah, and it was part of what was a Hollywood-like script for this Michigan team.
You got to go to Tillman again.
Williams, wow. How did he finish that?
I tell you what, that was great defense by Livers, and Tillman, and Williams just got it over the 6'7" kid who had his arms up.
Williams, the local product from right there in Richmond, Virginia, averaging 11.4 points per game, tops on the team with 7 assists per outing.
I don't like this lineup for Michigan. I don't like it at all. This is the kind of lineup that could put them down over the last 5 minutes of the half.
Looking at Teteski. Cross-court pass. Got it to Abdur-Rahman. And it's going to go out of bounds. Last touch by the freshly inserted Isaiah Livers.
Watch this. I mean, he rebounded. That TV did not do this justice. And from our vantage point, which is behind him, couldn't even see Charles Matthews, and he lays it in. This is another tough layup here. Look at Williams here. He got fouled. I keep talking about it. Kids out there, put your chin on the rim. Raise your chin. Don't just raise your eyes, and you'll get the ball over the front of the rim.
Tim Comer, Ron Zaberski, Ryan Wells, the officiating trio. Letting them play a little bit here in the early goings of this 5th place game. Abdur-Rahman with the left.
I tell you, he's explosive. I thought he double dribbled right there, but he's explosive. He went off the wrong foot and right at the rim with a nice touch, laid it with the left hand.
Averaging 14.5 points, 4.5 assists coming into this one here on Maui.
You saw it right there. Look, Livers and Rahman are switching everything. They don't care.
Jenkins lost the handle. Abdur-Rahman, hefty three. And it's going to stay here with the Wolverines out of bounds. 7:42 left to play in the first half. We got to get Dan Dockich on one of these.
Not a chance. Good for Rusty. Get up. Hang 10, baby. I love Maui.
Looking forward to the championship game of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. 6th-ranked Wichita State and number 13 Notre Dame. 10:30 Eastern on ESPN2. And in that game, you'll see one of the front runners for National Player of the Year in Bonzie Colson.
You talk about a guy who is really good at everything and forces nothing. I mean, if he has a shot, he takes it. If he doesn't, he passes it. He goes after every rebound. Tonight, I've got to believe you're going to see all of his skills. He's going to have to play against pressure. But when it gets tough, remember, you heard, oh, that's pretty good there. Left block, Bonzie Colson is death to the opponent.
What's the feeling you're getting about that matchup? You leaning one way or the other?
I really like Notre Dame. Like, I'm a big fan of both. Greg Marshall, I coached against 100 years ago. He was an assistant at Marshall. But Notre Dame, to me, is fun. What do you think? You've done all these games. You're smarter than me. What do you think?
Absolutely not. I like Notre Dame. The way that they have been playing. We have been calling the Notre Dame game, so we're a little bit more intimately involved with what they've done on their side of the bracket. But I mean, if they put together the game plan that they did yesterday, there aren't going to be too many teams that can beat Notre Dame.
Bonzie Colson is one of my top seniors. I think we're on everybody. There you go.
Ibby Watson will earn his way to the free throw line.
You know, one of the things that's different about college basketball, there's my top seniors in the country. One of them is a bit of a homer pick, Brian McIntosh, but I just really like the kid. Trayvon Blewett is going to be an All-American, and nobody's going to know him. But you see Allen Colson, Devontae Graham. Grayson Allen, to me, thus far has been the performer of the year. You know, player of the year, whatever you want to call him. But that performance against Michigan State was out of this world good. Legendarily good, even by Duke standards.
What about the potential of Bonzie Colson, Shaq Morris doing work in the front court?
You know, that's going to be interesting because I think, again, if in fact Shaq Morris guards Colson, I think he'll have Gebbin. But if he does, you can play high pick and roll with Bonzie Colson now. And it doesn't have to be a jump shot. It can be a three-point shot. It can be a pull-up. He's terrific in the mid-range, but he's got to do it in the middle of the court.
Largest lead of this opening frame for Michigan, 24-17. Jonathan Williams spins to the hoop, and a whistle prior to the shot. It should be noted, Isaac Vann, 6'6", redshirt sophomore, a transfer from Maine. He sprained his ankle in the opening game of this tournament against Marquette. And there he is on the bench. They did perform x-rays. They came back negative, but he is not playing. And he is a guy that head coach Mike Rhodes refers to as the 6th starter on the team.
Yeah, that's a big loss. You know, we talk about starters all the time. Van played one game, got hurt, 7 points, but he's the kind of guy that like every team needs. You know, he can just do a lot of different things. He does it with enthusiasm. It's a little bit like the Sampson kid last night for LSU that got hurt. 6'5", 6'6", do a lot of stuff.
Dariante Jenkins, fellow sophomore, able to fill the void, though, in the game against Cal yesterday. Went for a career-high 27 points on 11 for 15 shooting.
I don't know what we're looking at. I mean, look.
Well,
if they got to look and see who the foul is, they need another guy.
Yeah, that was Deron Simmons.
Only one
I think what they were trying to do was see exactly where the shot clock was at. And meanwhile, Mikel Sims hits the 3.
How good is that? He just lifted up off of a handoff and just knocked it out easy.
And a poke away by Williams. Simmons on his wallet, trying to wrestle it away, and a foul right in front.
Man, Jonathan Williams got caught with a foul. He's going to reach across and hit Simmons. I don't blame VCU fans, don't like it, but this is a bad play. Great play by Jonathan Williams to this point. Ref letting him play, and then you're going to see Williams kind of get up and whack him right. No, that's a bad call. Never mind.
Upon further review.
Yeah, but from our angle, it looked like he hit him in the head, but he did not hit him in the head.
Sarcastic smirk from Jonathan Williams as well after picking up his first foul. 16 fouls for VCU. Wagner underneath, another throwdown.
And another great look from Abdul-Rahman. He found Wagner and bullet passed. Remember, we said at the open, you cannot have humps on your passes because VCU closes too well on the ball.
Here's Chris Lane, turnaround shot. That was feathery.
Man, that was nice. And Lane is big. I mean, really big. And he went on the block, faded away beautifully. VCU is good.
Lane is 3 for 3 from the field. Deep 3 by Abdul-Rahman. That one clangs. And the rebound out to Tillman.
This is a guy I would like to see them go back to Lane. He's got Simmons on. He's got a little guy.
Tillman to lean in. Doesn't get the roll. Offensive board and follow up by Lane. Make it 4 for 4 from the field.
And you've got to feed him. He is feeling it. That time off the offensive glass, but he had Simmons on him and no one even looked.
Chris Lane, another Richmond, Virginia product, averaging 10 a game. A grad transfer from Longwood University. Simmons, too strong on the reverse. And it's going to be a foul called against the Wolverines. They're going to get Wagner on this one.
Yeah, you've got to throw hard passes. You cannot, absolutely cannot throw them with a hump. Got to be on the line. I'm going back to Lane. Lane had Simmons on the switch, and Lane just beating everybody to the backboard. As you said, he's 4 for 4. He's feeling it. He's much bigger than Charles Matthews down on the right block.
So the Rams with an opportunity to tie, maybe take the lead here. And a reach-in foul called against Brooks. All of a sudden, we're seeing some tighter whistles at this juncture of the first half.
Yeah, probably a good thing. You know what? You'll see on the other end, Michigan, there's going to be a hold on VCU. They're wide down screen. They're kind of holding. And Michigan's had their hands on people on the other end. Great crowd here by VCU, by the way.
Yeah, making some noise. Jenkins, tough jump shot.
Look at Lane.
There's Lane, stripped down low, though. Last touched out of bounds by Wagner, so it stays here with the Rams.
Here's what's happening. Lane is setting a ball screen. Michigan, everything. That time it was between Matthews and Abdul-Rahman. John Beeline's going to have to figure this out, whether he wants to keep doing that. I think he will. But Abdul-Rahman had no chance of keeping Lane off the backboard.
Lane listed at 6'7", 245. He's a pretty big piece of humanity.
If he's 245, then I'm 680 because he's got to go 250 to 260. with a nice touch and a great physical attitude. Here he is.
Oh, that pass knocked away by Matthews. Wolverines off and running. Oh, the pass too hot that time for Eli Brooks to handle.
Well, Matthews was expecting Brooks to stay out on the three-point line, which is how Michigan rolls usually, but let's be honest, man. Buster Posey may not have caught that ball. That ball was fired at Eli Brooks.
Turnover number 1 of this game for Michigan right there. See the turnover ratio between teams.
They're not going to turn over, and they're not going to foul usually, Michigan. Again, here's your switch. Lane has Brooks. Now the switch back to Rockmont.
Sims looking sharp early.
Yeah, really good. He shoots it easy. He shot a 3, made it look easy. And Jonathan Williams was causing havoc. Pun intended.
That's what Mike Rhodes said when he returned to VCU, took over as head coach, said he wanted to reintroduce the havoc concept defensively. In fact, he was saying maybe even up the havoc a little bit.
Well, good for him. If he can do it, good for him. But he's got the guys out here. He's got big, strong guys that do what he wants, and they play hard. I mean, they play Jenkins, good-looking kid. This kid here is...
And a bump after the reception of that pass by Tillman. They're going to get Wagner on this one. And that's number 2 on Mo Wagner. So timeout on the floor. 3:55 left to play in the first half. We're knotted up for 5th place.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's.
Man, I'll tell you what. I worked with Ryan Rucco, and his mother made pineapple stuffing.
Oh.
I'm telling you right now, get on Twitter, ask Ryan Rucco for his mother's pineapple stuffing recipe. Thank me later. It's unbelievable. My favorite dinner was at the Greenberg house, though, with the Greenberg family. It was fantastic. Anytime you hang with Seth, you're doing good, and his mother.
That sounds pretty darn good.
Oh, the pineapple stuffing. Ryan Rucco's mom made it. We couldn't stuff it. We were hosting Mike, and we were doing it with our mouths full. Look at Jonathan Williams.
Off of the inbound, out of the timeout. You saw some of the Feast Week news and notes. Michael Porter Jr. expected to miss the rest of the season with that back injury. And big news coming out of Louisville as Brian Bowen ruled ineligible. The school announcing he will not play. Assistant head coach Kenny Johnson also has officially been terminated.
I know Kenny Johnson. I really like Kenny Johnson, but he needed to be fired. In fact, I thought he was already fired. You just can't be involved in that stuff and think you're going to coach college basketball. Man, is he physical? Is Lane good or what?
Yes, Chris Lane owning the lane right now for the Rams.
And I'll say this with Brian Bowen, I hope he never plays college basketball. I mean, I know there's going to be excuses, and I know people will say, wow, this person did it without him knowing. I don't buy it. If you're going to get involved in that, look, there are worse things than not playing college basketball. Life goes on, and life goes on really well. But the truth of the matter is, he shouldn't be allowed to play. Teske, he's just bigger than everybody.
7'1", 255, the sophomore from Medina, Ohio.
I tell you what, that is such an improvement for John Beilein to be able to put Teske in there, who's bigger and stronger than everyone else in the gym when he wants to take Wagner out. And Teske was there as well, but a good shot by VCU. It's a great game right here.
2.5 to go.
It's a huge 2.5 minutes right here. I said it in the first game. We always talk about the first 4 minutes of the second half. Last 2.5, 3 minutes of the first half, monstrous.
Teske. Here's Brooks. Robinson from the corner. Strikes.
Great play by Brooks. Absolutely set it up for Robinson. He drove right at Robinson's man. And I told you, right corner, the man is deadly. If you were going to ask me what 3 do you want out of anybody in college basketball, I'll take Duncan Robinson shooting from the right corner over any other guy shooting any other 3.
Robinson averaging 13 points per game, shooting 42% from beyond the arc this season. Williams, tough drive. Matthews holds it down for Michigan. Sends it ahead. Abdul-Rahman bounce to Brooks.
Hey, that was sweet. Ball didn't touch the floor except for the bounce pass. Matthews and Abdul-Rahman and Brooks sprinted. They didn't jog, they sprinted down the floor. Fantastic transition, Michigan.
And VCU will signal for a timeout. A surge here late in this first half. by the Wolverines.
Absolutely huge. That kid's athletic ability right there went down and went up, not down, went up and got it, and then he led the break. Watch this. This is sweet. Right there. Wow. He gets up. One dribble, outlet. One dribble, bounce pass, layup. That's like a layup drill executed well by Michigan.
Coverage of the Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlantis started today. Quarterfinal action. You see already one of the semifinals set. Tennessee with the upset in overtime of number 18 Purdue taking on 5th-ranked Villanova. Had a little difficulty with Western Kentucky as well, but Nova into the semifinal round. You see number 2 Arizona part of the festivities still to come.
Well, Arizona terrific, but I'm looking at Purdue right there. What a bad week for the Big Ten, man. I mean, really bad week. I mean, Iowa loses twice. Northwestern gets absolutely dismantled by Texas Tech. And I might have said they were the best conference in the country privately. I hope we don't show that actual. Yes, that right there that my now no longer like producer Matt Barkley. Robinson, that's a bad shot. That's the 3rd bad shot they've taken.
I told you can't mispronounce producer or director's names. They'll get you at some point in time.
I know the great, not Pam, but Pat Lowry, director extraordinaire. Look at Teskey. Teskey's playing great.
Great edge on that screen.
Bring it back up.
Santos Silva, that ball does the tour and then falls out.
That happens once a lifetime on these rims.
Jenkins leans in.
Terrible shot by Jenkins. You got to understand time and score.
Tillman, he's blocked by Robinson. Battle out in front of the rim. The Wolverines come out of the scrum with it. 5 seconds left in the half.
Gotta go. Oh, there's a foul.
And Brooks is fouled in the backcourt by Dariante Jenkins.
That's a 1-and-1.
2.7 left to play.
That is a 1-and-1, and that is a terrible sequence. Then a 4-point sequence, had the ball on the rim, and actually didn't even need this because when the ball was gotten back by VCU, they could have just backed it out and played for one shot. Instead, they got aggressive, fouled. Now they got a chance to go down 7.
7th team foul for VCU. So, yes, indeed, it sends Eli Brooks, the freshman from Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, to the free throw line. And he makes the first one count.
What'd you say? He scored 2,400 points in his high school career?
He did at Spring Grove High School.
Think about that.
Averaged almost 30 a game. Averaged 12 rebounds a game.
Now you're getting silly. Now that's a ball type kid thing where we just fake it.
Williams from half court. And so Michigan closes the first half on a 6-0 run. And they take a 36-30 lead into the locker room. You see what the Wolverines have done in transition.
Well, they got good play out of Teskey on the backboard. The game hasn't really even started yet. Look, you're going to have to handle the ball if you're Michigan for the next 20 minutes. And if you're VCU, you got to stay disciplined, throw it inside.
Stay tuned for the Land Rover halftime report with Vert, Cuff, and Spatola. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's. Back here in beautiful Lahaina, Maui, final day action of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. 5th place game is at intermission. Michigan up 36-30 on VCU. Welcome back to the Maui Jim Maui Invitational back here inside Lahaina Civic Center alongside my man Dan Dockich. I'm Kanoa Leahy. And Dan, Michigan able to keep the tempo at a pace that perhaps favors them, and Duncan Robinson hitting shots to oblige as well.
Yeah, the last 3.5 minutes was huge in this game. This game was tied at 30, and in the last few minutes, Michigan took it over. Duncan Robinson with 10 points. When he gets in the right side of the court, in the corner, it is like automatic. And this is a much better Michigan team. You know, I was talking to Brendan Quinn, the outstanding writer for The Athletic, who covers Michigan and Michigan State. First game, Michigan got sped up. This game, not so much. This dude is a monster. Like, Chris Lane, the 5th-year transfer from Longwood, has gone on the block. If they continue, they being VCU, continue to put him out on the court and get a switch with a littler guy on him, it is going to be over. He can dominate this second half. He is good. He is really good.
He's got 10. Robinson has 10. Only players in double figures here in this ball game. How was Michigan able to thwart the havoc defense of VCU in that first half.
You know, again, I was talking to Brandon Quinn, and Michigan was not allowed to get sped up because they held on to the basketball, pass faked before they dribbled, and threw snapped passes. Very rarely do you see Michigan throw a pass with a big hump on it. They'll snap the ball away from the defense, and they did a great job in the first half.
Deontay Jenkins coming off of the 27 spot against Cal. He's only got 2 points here in this one, 1 of 5 from the field. Williams turn around in the lane. That's a tough shot against Matthews.
It's amazing. When you let good players get in the lane, they just make. Like, that's a tough shot. You said it. And he's going against a bigger guy, an athletic guy in Charles Matthews. But Jonathan Williams, really good player in the lane. He's too much. You got to skip right here if you want.
Michigan again going with the freshman Eli Brooks. Maybe gives them a little bit more consistent perimeter shooting at the point guard position. That's a takeaway by Lane.
That's what I was talking about. They close on the ball really well. I saw what Duncan saw, and it closed very quickly.
Well, Williams looked to bang the back of his head against the signage along the baseline. He is just getting back on the defensive end now. Brooks unable to take advantage, and in fact, a whistle after the miss. It's going to go against Wagner. And that is number 3 on Mo Wagner.
Well, that was a play that Brooks isn't quite ready to make confidence-wise. He will in about 2 weeks. He'll get his confidence, he'll get his sea legs. But Mo Wagner, really upset by the call. And you see John Beal. If I was a referee, there's not a chance in, you know what, that I'm standing there talking to a coach and explaining what I just called. That's what I love about the NBA. They make the call, they run down the court, they look at the scorer's bench, give the fingers of who committed the foul, and away we go. 2-1, let's go. Not sit there and chat with a coach.
Second meeting all time between these two programs. The last one coming back in March of 2013. Michigan winning in the second round of the NCAA tournament that year, 78-53 of final. Here's Williams, another turnaround in the lane, off the heel, offensive board Lane.
He's too much.
He has been dominating under the glass.
I'm not going to be surprised to see Teske come in here, because Teske is big enough to go get a rebound on his own. I wouldn't be surprised at some point to see Wagner and Teske play together. I mean, Lane's just too physical for Matthews. He stepped out of bounds, but he was pushed by Matthews.
6 rebounds now for Lane to go along with those 10 points. Played as a freshman at Drexel. Thing about him, he's a dedicated vegetarian. He actually reshaped his body just eating veggies.
I'm going to tell you something.
He's still that size.
That's the biggest vegetarian I've ever seen in my life. Ooh,
outlet pass by Teske. Matthews swerves around the defender, and it was Lane.
What a great outlet pass. John Teske got the ball. He's 7 feet tall. He got the ball at the top of his arm span, and in this one motion just outletted it. And Matthews with the Euro step. This is a bad match. Lane, Abdul-Rahman. Coach Rhodes wanted it swung back, and it didn't get there.
Right corner 3, bangs off the rim. Malik Crowfield tried to let that one fly.
This is where Jonathan Williams
Teske finishes and 1. Tillman the foul from behind, and some frustration on the VCU side.
John Teske has been a difference maker in 3 games. This game going backwards when he had a double-double against Southern Miss, and going backwards when defensively he changed the game against Central Michigan. 2 guys ran out, no communication between Tillman. Watch this. Watch him get it at the top of the seat. He's got it at the top, keeps it up, has his eyes, and in one motion, Wes unsolds it down to a nice little Euro step by Charles Matthews.
Teske, born in Indianapolis, around your neck of the woods. And you're right, he has stepped up, was challenged earlier in the season by John Beilein to be more physical, be more of a presence under the glass, and he has done that here in stretches throughout this early portion of the season.
Teske was coached. You cannot do that if you're Brooks. You cannot let him in the lane. Teske was coached by one of my former players, MAC Player of the Year, Anthony Stacy, and Anthony's a great coach.
Matthews just driving to the hoop, and excuse me to Malik Crowfield, and largest lead of this game for the Wolverines, and the double flex for Mr. Matthews.
And John Sanderson, who conducts Camp Sanderson, which is the weight program, love it. That Charles Matthews comes in, bogarts his way to the rim, and lets everyone know he lifts weights once in a while.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball.
Sunday morning on the ocean lawn at the Sheraton Maui Resort and Spa. All 8 head coaches here in Maui competed in a charity free throw contest along with students from local Maui middle schools. Coach Eric Boverd of Chaminade University and his playing partner Zion from Iao Intermediate School were crowned champs. All participating middle schools received a donation from the tournament.
You see James Williams right there? He's got a neat thing. He's the best player in the gym. I'm telling you, man, this kid, recruiters. His dad, I believe, is the head coach at Lahaina, what high school?
Well, I think he's a coach on the staff or in the program at Lahaina Luna, yes.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you right now, college recruiters, James Williams from the island has to be recruited, man. He is a stud. So Zach, that kid's going to be really good.
Yeah, Jenkins knocks in the jumper. Here's the extended pressure once again from VCU.
Look at our guys giving James a graphic, man. That's pretty good. A nameplate.
Lahaina Luna's gym was utilized for practices over the weekend in preparation for the Maui Gym Maui Invitational. And just so happened to coincide, the Lahaina Luna football team won its 2nd straight Division II state championship with a 7 overtime victory over a school from the Big Island, Konawaina.
That's what I'm talking about.
So go Lunas.
And his dad, what's his name, Don, I think, is working for us. That's a stud right there. He's got a back, he's got a knee thing going, he's got a head, and all he's going to do is come out here and beat everybody one-on-one.
Williams is not getting some of those in traffic to fall.
Now Michigan's at their best when they keep the ball moving. Ball gets reversed, you keep it moving. In half court, just okay, but transition in secondary, really good today.
Williams now 2 of 10 from the floor. Here's Matthews, and he gets fouled on the way up.
See, that was nice.
15:55 to play, and hey, look, when you're not watching hoops, it's Thanksgiving week. Maybe head out to the.
The hardest thing in sports is to replace a legend. Bill Walton was here last year. Now it's Stan Dockich. That ain't good for anybody but me.
That's right, Mr. Walton already up in Portland. Yes, his stomping grounds. And you're going to be joining him here a little bit.
I can't wait. I just want to be in his aura. You know what I mean? Just be around him.
And why will everybody be descending upon Portland? Because of the PK80 presented by State Farm. This is a look at the motion bracket. You got top-ranked Duke among the field there. 7th-ranked Florida. Number 17, Gonzaga. Interesting matchup with Ohio State.
Yeah, really good. Ohio State has the world's greatest 5th-year transfer in Andrew Dockich. Gonzaga.
Very objective viewpoint there from Dan Dockich.
Yeah, they're 4-0. What are you going to do? This is going to be a good game. I like Texas against Butler, too. I think it's going to be a really, really good game.
Well, VCU missing 10 of its last 12 shots. Michigan, quite the opposite effect. And we have Charles Matthews at the free throw line. This is the 2nd try. It's tapped out, and Michigan controls with a fresh possession.
That's not supposed to happen with Hammock. Mike Rhodes not real happy with it. That's a bad pass. That was telegraphed. Just a little slash cut by Rockman. Good hands by VCU.
Xavier Simpson trying the one-handed bounce pass, disrupted. Here's Jenkins, good drive, the tip up and in by Santos Silva.
Nobody rotated. Teske did a nice job of coming over, and Santos Silva, he recognized, went to the rim, got the tip in. Feels like a big possession here for Michigan. Got away with a walk.
Yeah, very close to dragging that pivot foot. Maybe even did so, it just wasn't called. Simpson will try a 3. Wow. Follow up by Teske.
Wow, what hands by John Teske. Even Michigan people didn't know who John Teske was last year, and he just went to work, beat out Austin Davis. Now he's getting ready almost to beat out Mo Wagner.
7 points, 4 rebounds for Teske, and acrobatic finish for Dariante Jenkins.
Dariante Jenkins, there's a layup if they see him.
Teske tries to go reverse style. He'll go to the free throw line.
Jenkins is really good. He made a heck of a feed, but this is great by Teske. Look, shots up, not close, and there's Stan. But Stan at the top of his extension. Like some guys rebound at their forehead. Teske rebounds with his arm extended. It can be taught. It's tough to be taught. Teske just has it.
Misses the front end of this trip to the free throw line. Head coach John Beilein and head coach Mike Rhodes both talking about the importance of trying to come away with 2 victories here on Maui. You lose on the first day, you know you're not going to win a championship, and so then the mission becomes, all right, let's leave Maui 2-1.
Let me tell you something, that is all you're thinking about, because you want to have a nice Christmas, or excuse me, Thanksgiving. You do not need to be sitting at home and you've lost 2 games out here. You come here to win a championship, and if that ain't happening, you gotta win 2. Unless you're Chaminade. Chaminade happy to win 1, and they did. They beat the heck out of Cal.
Yeah, that was a pretty lopsided affair. Who'd have thunk at Chaminade beating Cal 96-72. Largest margin of victory over a D1 team in Silver Sword history, and its 8th victory in the 34-year history of this Maui Jim Maui Invitational. Robinson for 3.
Boy, that feels like Teskey's 2 misses, and now Robinson missing an open 3. Feels like you're letting VCU hang around, and they're doing a great job of attacking the rim, VCU is.
Second foul on Matthews. VCU had attempted just 1 free throw in this game prior to the start of the second half. And so you are seeing now more of an objective to get to the rim and maybe draw some whistles.
You know, Kanoa, you hear fans all the time talk about adjustments, and 99% of fans have no idea what they're talking about when they say, oh, the coach didn't make any adjustments. Well, let me educate you here on this game. Mike Rhodes has told his team, we're driving the basketball. We're not settling for jump shots. We're going to drive it as hard as we can possibly drive it, thus getting to the foul line. You mentioned it, not at the foul line in the first half. Second half, yes.
See if that adds a little pep to the step of this Havoc defense.
Great play by Simpson.
Teskey
Great
hacked.
play. Simpson got caught the last time, keeping the ball on the side. You never want to hold on to the ball against Havoc, this pressure by VCU on a side. You want to get it into the middle of the court. Look, he beats 3 guys into the middle, no looks, Teskey. Now, Teskey has to finish. He's had a chance really for 6 points. He's got 1. The last time he got fouled, missed 2 free throws. You get a big guy around the rim, that's got to be an and 1 for 3. He made none. Here he had a chance for another and 1. He's got 1.
How about the minutes he's providing here for John Beilein with Mo Wagner on the bench with the 3 fouls?
I'm really happy for Teskey. He's a guy, again, I like kids. They got 1 out of 6 possible points right there. I'm really happy for kids that work really hard, stick with it. Don't transfer, don't whine. Just stay with it, go to work, get time, make the most of it.
Jenkins with the handle, drops it off to Tillman. And he puts it up and in.
Well, that was a great pass, and Tillman made his best jump and finished. Duncan Robinson didn't quite get over.
6.6 boards for Tillman, averaging just under 14 points a game.
Michigan's going to win this game. Mo Wagner's going to have to come in and score some points.
They're going to have a foul called against VCU. Take another look at the Rams working it at the offensive end.
Yeah, this was really good. Watch the little wraparound pass. Robinson and Teskey both went with the same guy. Charles Matthews stayed outside the next man. That was just a miscommunication by Michigan, and good for VCU taking advantage.
And that could have possibly been an and 1 at that end as well.
Would have been in the last game.
Crowfield picking up the personal foul. That's his 2nd.
Mo Wagner has to score a lot of points in the last 13 minutes here.
Wide open, Robinson pumps the defender out of the way and then finishes up and under.
A great poise by Robinson. Shot clock running down. You can feel it in the building. Showed the ball. The ball is like a magnet when you show it. VCU jumped, Robinson with a finish.
Jenkins. Wow. Long step in his way to the hoop.
Wow. Jenkins is long, athletic, and Matthews is hurt.
Yeah, Matthews limping, maybe cramping up, but he is making his way in front of the Michigan bench, and the officials will signal for a timeout. And he is 1 foot hopping all the way to the end of the bench to get looked at.
That's the beauty of having no muscles. You don't cramp up. Like, I've never cramped up. Now, these guys have muscles. And they're playing hard and they're sweating and all that stuff. So you cramp up once in a while. But being all bones and fat, you don't really have that. You just don't.
Well, third day on Maui. These guys are doing some activities, right? Maybe spend a little time at the beach.
To be here? Remember when it was hot? Everybody
before
was
the air conditioner was put in? Yeah. Long gone are the days of Adam Morrison trying to hydrate himself en route to a tournament record 43 points.
He's got a good look. He just got to make. Now Williams got to figure it out here. This has to be a good possession, which should end up with a little high-low or a drive into the middle of the lane.
12-minute mark, and we're going to have a foul on Sean Mobley.
Or Mobley knocking down a guy. That's not the screener's fault. That's the ball handler's fault. The ball handler has to wait for the screener to come. This is good poise here. Watch Mo Wagner. Draws the defense, kicks it, little shot fake. Gets to the rim, defense late, left hand, right side, fantastic.
Final day of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational Championship game. We're looking forward to it at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN2. A top 15 matchup, Wichita State and Notre Dame. But already some excitement, a little bit of history made here on the final day of the tournament as Chaminade out of the NCAA Division II, they knocked off Cal, and they did so in convincing fashion. 96-72, Chaminade with its largest margin of victory over a Division I opponent and its 8th win in the 34-year history of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational.
You know, a lot of these games have been close. You said it's the biggest margin of victory. They just made Cal stop playing. They took Cal's heart, and you can see that meant a lot to a really good group of kids. We've gotten to know them a little bit over the course of the 3 days here, 4 days, 5 days, whatever we've been here, but I don't want to leave. I wish I was here 20 days. Although, being in Bill Walton's aura, and maybe a little contact high. Maybe.
Probably best to just leave that one alone. What do you think?
I think maybe we'll just... Ooh, little up screen. He's open. Got him.
There's Wagner underneath. Tillman trying to ice him along that baseline and the strip down low.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, Wagner's involved in all of this, but he's got to be able to finish. You bring it down, bad things happen. Great play by Xavier Simpson. It's a bad call. I think this is Michigan's ball.
And we're going to keep it here with the Rams. Take another look.
Legendary producer Matt Barkley, am I wrong? That is off of the right knee of VCU.
I would agree with you there.
It's a tough call for Michigan.
5-point ball game, 11.5 to go. 5th place game of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. Crowfield, tough turnaround, got the friendly
I'm
roll.
telling you, there was great defense by Xavier Simpson. Absolutely great defense. But you let an athletic guy get in the middle of the lane, they just lift over you. Crowfield with a really nice move.
Crowfield showing this Rams program a lot of potential.
You know, Kanoa, one of the things about this havoc press by VCU is they're not giving up anything. They're not giving up a bucket. They're not giving up a three. They're able to press. And, oh, boy.
Libby Watson sends that one into the seats.
Yeah, Libby Watson trying to do too much, but this press is really effective. They're not giving anything up. They're forcing Michigan to try to beat it, back off, and thin run offense, which is not Michigan's strength right now. This tide has turned a little bit here.
And that's the thing about playing VCU, right? I mean, it is just a grind that you have to sustain for the entirety of the game.
Absolutely. You got to play 40 minutes. You're not going to beat them playing 35 minutes.
Rams 3 for their last 3 from the floor. Williams will try a deep 3. Rebound Wagner.
This is where you need to take the ball to the right side. You've got it set right there. Bad pass.
That's an unforced turnover as Simpson just led Robinson a little too much.
Well, he didn't have to do that. He could have thrown the ball up real easy to Abdul Rahman on the right side. Robinson was running right wing. It could have kicked it ahead. Simpson, bad play. Just feel like VCU is getting better looks, more comfortable on the offensive end.
Chris Lane back into the game for the Rams. Jenkins slicing down the left side. And a reach-in foul called against Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman.
I'm telling you, if Michigan's going to win, Wagner's going to have to hit 2 threes in the last 10 minutes.
VCU traveling the farthest distance of any team in the field to be here in Maui, approximately 4,700 miles or so from Richmond to Lahaina, Maui. And on day 3, maybe you start to feel some of that. So far, so good, though, for this Rams squad. Jenkins.
Ooh. Look at that.
High off the rim and in.
I'm telling you, that rim over there is beautiful.
Robinson trying to leak out. That one deflected away, and it stays here with the Wolverines.
I'm telling you, I keep saying, I'm telling you, I will stop, I promise you. But this rim over here is as soft as a baby's backside, man. That thing just bounces around, and you get it inside the rim, it is going in.
We mentioned the distance that VCU had to travel. They were also the last team to get here. Played the Friday before the tournament started against Virginia. And so they actually canceled their initial scheduled practice on Saturday. And here's a rip by the Rams D. Threading the needle on the bounce pass was Jenkins, and Lane gets fouled on the way up. So this was the VCU Rams schedule, hosted Virginia. Then the flight from Richmond to Dallas, Dallas to Maui on Saturday, practice on Maui late that day, and then right into the players' luau, and 2 days later, they're playing real basketball.
And they're playing well. I do not believe that 18 to 22-year-olds can't handle that. I don't. I don't think that tired comes into play. Look, these guys, if you said we're going to play when they all day, they would play all day. They all have played all day. So, you know what? I just don't buy that. I think I have too much respect for 18 to 22-year-olds' ability to just do things like play basketball. Now, if you ask them to make their bed, you know what I mean? Work in a steel mill.
It depends on the task, you're saying.
Yes.
Well, the VCU crowd up in the volume. Defense trying to up the tempo and the intensity. Lane able to win the battle with Wagner for the rebound, and they're going to get Wagner with the foul.
They should get Wagner with a foul. That's 5 straight bad possessions, 4 turnovers. Mo Wagner, the ball was thrown up, tipped. Got him by the arm, and look, Lane is strong and tough.
All right, so Michigan, that late run in the first half, had the 6-point advantage at halftime, looked like they were in control, built it to double digits here in the second half, and here come the Rams doing their thing.
Well, the Rams have not flinched. The run at the end of the half was bad basketball, but Mike Rhodes took his team in halftime and said, we're going to drive it, and we've got to ratchet it up. We've got to ratchet up the intensity. You see it. They're not settling for jump shots. Everybody's catching it, trying to get into the lane. And Michigan, this is the first time, I think, over the last 4 or 5 possessions, you've seen the problem with having no point guard. They haven't been organized. They haven't gotten the ball to the right people, and Wagner, quite frankly, needs to take this game over, and he just hasn't.
Well, and the plot thickens regarding Wagner because that was his 4th personal foul. He is currently out there on the floor, but there is a lot of time left on this clock, 9:19 to go.
He's going to have to hit 2 threes to win. And Michigan's going to have to shore up their individual defense. They have not guarded their own man very well.
Meanwhile, Chris Lane continues to put in work. He's got 13.6 rebounds. Now Teske comes in for Mo Wagner. How long do you sit Wagner if you're head coach John Beilein?
Well, really, I think personally, you say the heck with you. You know, we're going to win this game without you. And then if Wagner, you know, if you want to put him back in, fine. But when Teske's been on the floor, this is a much better basketball team.
Matthews back out there after working on that leg. Appeared to be cramping up a little while earlier. You see Wagner on the bench. Crowfield picking up his third personal foul on that last Matthews drive.
Well, you see the two guys on the right, Wagner and Duncan Robinson. Somebody as a senior, Wagner's only a junior, but Duncan Robinson's 106 years old. He needs to make some shots as well. Or he needs a shot fake, get fouled. But Robinson, I think, needs to come back in this game and play like a veteran guy.
9-0 VCU run to take the lead. Matthews left that free throw way short.
Just 3 in a row. Teskey shot 2 short. And, you know, I'm guessing after you shoot a free throw short, you act like your leg hurt. But you can make free throws in the dark.
Tyler May, and a foul coming against Xavier Simpson. Second foul on Simpson. Thanksgiving morning. Start your day with First Take at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. They'll get you ready for all 3 NFL games, plus preview college football's rivalry weekend. There'll be some Turkey Day surprises for sure. First Take also streaming live on the ESPN app. Free throw rattles in and out for Tyler May.
I think it's a really good move by John Beeline. Brooks is capable of scoring. Simpson didn't give him a whole lot. You've got to get Duncan Robinson in there. You have a team right now that if you're going to make a move, this is the group that has to do it.
Brooks making his second straight start at the point guard position. John Beeline saying after the game yesterday, he just feels like offensively they have a better flow with Brooks running the helm.
And you can see it. They really do. And they might let Abdul Rahman run a little bit at point. But I'm telling you, they've got to get the ball somehow, some way to Abdul Rahman with this lineup or Robinson.
Matthews can be pretty important as well.
No question.
Misses the lay-in and then goes tumbling to the floor. Grabs that left quad once again.
Yeah, he's hurting. He's legitimately hurting.
It's going to be against Sims, his second. So Matthews to the free throw line. Going off of that left leg. And also coming down on that left leg. And yeah, he's grimacing in some discomfort for sure.
He is. Now you've just got to worry about your arms and your upper body. If your legs aren't there for a free throw, you just got to arm this one in. Short
to short.
Again, all right, this is how a coach thinks. A coach thinks that should have been an and one. So now you've got Teskey that had 2 chances at an and one. Got 1 out of it. That's 1 out of 6. You've missed a free throw here, and you miss another one. It's 1 out of 9 possible points when you've gone to the rim with a chance for an and one.
It looked like he overcompensated on that second one as well. How closely are you monitoring Matthews on that leg if you're John Beeline?
I think I got to get him out, get him right. Maybe hopefully you can play him the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Backdoor cut by Crowfield, blocked, but a foul is called. It's going to go against Teskey.
I thought Teskey reacted pretty well. I thought he reacted really well, but the pass is the thing. A little back cut. Second time they've back cutted Duncan Robinson, but I suppose this game went from a fist fight where they were letting them play to all of a sudden now go to the rim, you're going to go to the line.
Crowfield at the line. I mentioned the potential. He was the first freshman to start a season opener for VCU. He did that last year since Bradford Burgess in 2008.
I like Bradford Burgess. I thought he was really good. I thought this program I love. I think VCU has a great basketball program. During the home game, what'd you say, it was Wade Arena? It's special, man. The band gets going. The atmosphere is fantastic.
You can see it just from the fans that made the trip all the way from Richmond here. And there's Matthews. Almost tumbling on that leg, still drives to the hoop, and there's your and one, Dan.
And look at him. He is really hurting. Matthews, finally, Michigan makes a basket while getting fouled, and they do it because Matthews is able to clear his right arm a little bit right there, keep his chin on the rim, Mike Tirico. That's for you.
Taking you a little bit behind the scenes at a basketball game here at the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. A lot of times, people think that during a break, we're looking at stats or, thinking about the game and what we're going to do when we come out of break. The truth is, we leave the building, and this is what we do. We'll be back in a minute.
Welcome back to the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. Final day here in beautiful Lahaina, Maui. Some of our camera guys, Sammer's kids, yucking it up in the water. You see at the top of the toe board, Wichita State and Notre Dame at 2-0. They'll meet up in the tournament championship. Your feeling about that matchup, a top 15 matchup here on the day before Thanksgiving?
Well, my first feeling is that man has great kids, man. That is awesome that his kids get an opportunity to do that. I think Wichita State Notre Dame is going to be an epic game. I think that the point guard, whether it's Shamet or Reeves against Matt Farrell, if you haven't seen Matt Farrell play, he's worth the price of admission. That dude can really ball. Bonzie Colson, a lot of people have him as a player of the year. Fantastic. I can't wait. Even though we're in Maui and I don't have a flight till midnight, I'm going to have a Mai Tai and I'm going to have a walk.
Another free throw left short by Matthews, unable to complete the three-point play.
So now you're 3 points out of 12 possibilities. It's just tough. It's something that it costs you at the end of games. Like a lot of times guys say, oh, you got fouled. Well, you complain about, no, in college or NBA, you've got to make that.
And here's a near steal by May. 8 seconds to shoot.
Time. Nobody's getting excited.
Matthews drives the lane, gets to the hole, misses from point-blank range.
Man, Mike Rhodes did not like that matchup. He was begging for guys to come help. Big shot here.
Off the heel, rebound Robinson.
See, I think if you're Michigan, you got to go. I mean, you got to go, you got to attack, swing the ball, and keep it moving.
Abdul-Rahman. That one's
short, right? A lot of it is because VCU is doing a great job of coming over and getting out in front of the arc, making these little floaters just a little bit longer. Back cut.
Williams resets. 10 to shoot. Two to shoot. Lane can't get it off in time. Too much dilly-dallying that time offensively for VCU.
Well, dilly-dally for the defense of Michigan, but, you know, if you're going to have a turnover, that's the best turnover to have, Kanoa. You now get to set up your press. Michigan has to take the ball out of bounds, and they haven't been very good at attacking the press. So, you know what? Mike Rhodes told his team, that's all right. Do that. Just don't throw it to the other team. Don't have a turnover for a touchdown.
Michigan breaks the pressure.
See what I'm saying? They broke it 2-on-1 and weren't able to get anything because Tillman guarded the basket first. He didn't come up at the ball handler. He guarded the rim.
Closing in on 6 minutes to play. Competitive ball game here for fifth place.
Sure.
Abdul-Rahman couldn't hit. A lot of missed layups, a lot of missed free throws here in this stage of the second half for Michigan.
Could have been a travel. Could have been offensive. Yeah.
There is an offensive foul call.
I tell you what, now it goes back to Michigan. VCU has had their chance to take this game out. This is great defense by Xavier Simpson. Just kept his hands up, actually stripped the ball. I like that too, a little on the neck, Walter Payton style. Xavier Simpson and Brooks playing together, not a bad move. Matthews is banged up a little bit. They're working on his his left leg. Trying to get some Gatorade into him, but you know what? This is VCU's had a real chance to get this to 6 or 8.
That was the third foul on Dariante Jenkins.
Who's going to make a shot? I think it's got to be right here. Oh, he's not even looking.
Robinson's looking. Goes long.
Mo Wagner's got to look for that. He's a terrific driver from the top of the key, but he didn't even look.
Seconds to shoot. Williams lobs it up for Tillman. Broken up by Abdul-Rahman.
Comes a three for Robinson.
Robinson's going to tear to the hoop. Up, in, and one.
I always think Robinson's going to run for a three, but again, old school, get to the foul line, cut it to the basket. This is how Michigan has to play this particular game. Great play by Simpson. He held on to it just long enough. Really, really a bad play by VCU. Mobley needed to get his head under the front of the rim get back on defense and then certainly not reach. And he's coming out. That was a bad play by Mobley, and Mike Rhodes is going to tell him, you get your head under the front of the rim, you don't let anybody pass you, and you certainly don't tap foul. If you're going to foul, you have to knock Robinson into the bench behind the basket, into the seats behind the basket.
Michigan takes over the lead. How about the fast break points? Heavily in favor of the Wolverines.
There's no real offense for Michigan other than transition. This dude here.
Lane, too strong there. Rebound Wagner.
If I'm Michigan, I don't set up. I just keep going. Ball screen, drive it. There you go. Yeah, the whole staff wanted the ball in. You can see Sadie Washington, man. They're yelling for Wagner to get the ball on the block.
Robinson, little show and go. Pass lane. The bruise in the bucket.
Well, credit John Beilein. John Beilein got all over Wagner and Robinson. And guess what, kids? Wagner and Robinson didn't salt, pout, and whine. They got tough. Little show and go. Hold on to the ball football style. Keep your chin on the rim and lay it in. I love when kids get yelled at and they don't whine. They just start playing harder. Robinson and Wagner caught some heck from Coach Beilein, and they have responded, particularly Robinson. That's 6 in a row.
17 points for Duncan Robinson. Team's leading scorer coming over to Maui.
I'm sorry, Canal. That's a good matchup, not necessarily defensively. Ooh, there's a push-off. Robinson against Lane, but offensively for Robinson, that's a good match.
VCU, where does the offense come from? Williams goes right to the Tim.
I love Williams. Williams so smart there. He just got underneath Mo Wagner. And he knew Mo Wagner playing with 4 fouls wasn't going to do anything. Wagner let him go because Williams got low.
Fastest player on this Rams team. You can see it when he puts his head down. It is a blur. Robinson left alone. Yeah. Wagner taps it to himself. And another possession.
Right, I'm reversing it, and I'm looking for another shot. It is all about this matchup right here. If I'm Brooks, I'm driving. If I'm Robinson, I'm driving Lane.
Wagner lets it fly from deep.
Had a chance. Now you got to take this ball to the rim, or you got to look on the block to Lane against Robinson. Now against Simpson.
We'll reset here.
Coach does not necessarily care about the post matchup. He just wants this drive.
Sims tries a 3 and knocks it down.
That was crazy. All of a sudden, Simpson left and tried to switch with Robinson, leaving Sims wide open for no reason.
12 points for Sims. Perfect from the field. 4 for 4 and 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. VCU in front. Wagner trying to go up and under against Tillman. Tried to save it, but right into Jenkins it goes.
Great defense by Tillman. Now you cannot foul here if you're...
Sims, the runner. Oh, maybe was lobbing it to Tillman. They weren't on the same page, but it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Michigan.
Oh, man. This is fantastic action on both ends. Michigan had the ball with Rockmont, and he got going too fast. Got tipped out off him. VCU ball. Great game. Stay here. Where are you going?
The United States Marine Corps.
Well, pretty good intensity for a 5th place game here at the Maui Jim Maui Invitational final day. VCU up 58-57 on the Wolverines. This game up for grabs here with 2:14 left to play. What are we looking at here over the last 2?
Well, we're looking at high intensity. You said it during the break. This has been really an intense game. I think for VCU, it's Williams with the ball, making something happen, getting into the lane. And let's be honest, Mo Wagner has been a little bit shook here by the physicality of VCU. He's got to get into play here in this last 2:14. Not necessarily hitting a 3, but getting himself a bucket or getting fouled somewhere inside.
Just 6 points, 3 for 8 from the field for Wagner. He's got 8 rebounds. But it's Williams controlling the ball. Lost it on the way up, though. Jenkins, the jumper is good.
Man, that's 2 straight They got a layup. Wagner's not looking, and why are they throwing it? I have no idea.
Tillman tried to save it.
Wagner was ahead of everybody, but he wasn't looking. And Simpson saw it and threw it. Wagner had a layup, and John Beilein knows his team right now is a tad discombobulated. Watch Wagner. The ball gets saved. Oh, I'm sorry. This is in. He doesn't miss in the play. Telling you, Abdul Rahman, you let him square up. He does not miss.
Third made three for Muhammad Ali Abdul Rahman, and we are tied up. Closing in on a minute and a half to go.
If you're Michigan, you cannot foul. If you are VCU, you've got to put Michigan in a mismatch where they do foul. Right here, they love the middle here.
Williams lost it. Wagner on the hardwood for it. We're going to have a tie-up call. Possession arrow belongs to the Wolverines. A costly sequence there for the Rams.
Yeah, Williams got in the middle. A hand reached in right there. Oh, that would be a foul no matter where you are playing. But it is only a foul if the referee calls a foul. Now, I'm looking at Rahman here. Abdul Rahman is the one guy that's going. I'll take either Matthews on a drive or Abdul Rahman.
Wagner going by Tillman. Count it.
How good was that? How good. He has to play. I mean, he just does. That was a great set by John Beilein. He knows that Tillman's not comfortable out on the perimeter. Ran a little curl, pop back. You'll see here, a little down screen, curl action, pop back, drive a moving defender, no help. Three-point play.
I mean, that is precisely what you were just referring to moments ago about Mo Wagner.
He has to. He has no confidence right now to shoot a three, so him seeing the ball going in and then making that free throw, huge. Now, look, if you're VCU, just drive it, give yourself a three-point play chance. This kid here can shoot the basketball. With no panic needed. If you're Michigan, you just do not foul. You make them make a tough shot. Down the stretch here, 8-10 seconds.
Profield, 5 to shoot. Deep three try. Rebound Wagner.
Got a foul. You're going to have to foul. I know there's 13 seconds. You want to play this out, that's fine, but you really don't have anybody on the team that can shoot free throw or that can make threes, and you know it's going in.
Well, can't foul now, right?
No, not now.
Shot clock down to 13.
I think you had to extend this game as much as you could, particularly with Simpson out there.
6 seconds to shoot. Simpson finds Wagner. Three on the way. Go, man!
Now you got to go to the rim if you're VCU. Three is fine.
Williams tries a three. Way long. Abdul Rahman the rebound.
We'll lay it in. What the heck?
And he'll dribble it out. He'll get another bucket for the record. Mo Wagner goes for the and one three-point play, the traditional three-point play from outside the arc, and Michigan wins it 68-60.
Hey, we said it. Mo Wagner had to make plays. John Beilein set him up with a little one-dribble drive, and then Mo Wagner, when he saw the ball go in, guess what? Shot that last one with great confidence.
So a fifth-place finish for the Wolverines, improving to 5-1 on the season. VCU now 3-3. They'll leave Maui with a 1-2 record in the Maui Gym Maui Invitational.
Now it's time for the play of the game, driven by Continental Tire. Hey, the play of the game right here. Now it's time for the play of the game, driven by Continental Tire. And there you go, Mo Wagner. After driving it, getting an and one, stepped back, and a really nice pass for Xavier Simpson. Mo Wagner lifted up and knocked it out. He really struggled all game. We said it. He's got to make plays at the end, and he did.
Meanwhile, Duncan Robinson leading the way with 18 for the Wolverines. And John Beilein achieves that desired second win in Maui. Once again, our final score 68-60. Later tonight, it's Wichita State and Notre Dame in the Maui Gym Maui Invitational Championship at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Right now, stay with us for SportsCenter. For Dan Dakich, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Aloha, everybody, from Maui.